Our organization, the Alternative Law Groups, strives to promote greater access to justice and uphold human rights through the developmental use of law and the critical engagement of the legal system. We are a coalition of 18 legal resource organizations working with the poor, marginalized sectors, identities, and communities. I am here today to share our view from the ground and our insights as alternative lawyers. If I may say, we live in critical times. Populism and even fascism penetrate the way the current administration operates. Since the beginning of President Duterte's administration, this government has conveniently put the blame on persons who use drugs for all the ills of society. They have waged a relentless war on drugs, killing thousands of people, destroying families, leaving widows and orphans in its wake. Human rights defenders are also constantly under threat. Those who dissent are harassed, threatened, and jailed. Organizations are being red-tagged as communist fronts and is slowly shrinking healthy democratic space for civil society organizations. In this current situation, why then would a lawyer of sound mind venture into human rights practice and public interest litigation? Why protect the interest of the poor and marginalized when you can get a fat paycheck from corporations who exploit them? As lawyers, why should we expose ourselves to unnecessary risks when we are not even affected by the killings? The privileged lawyer or law student thinks no one I know has been killed, and those who died are probably guilty anyway. Indeed, why practice alternative lawyering? I tell you why. To stop the erosion of democracy, slowly our freedom is being taken away, all for the sake of an ambiguous concept called national security. Ironically, some of the perpetrators of these crimes are those who are supposed to provide security to ordinary citizens. Now, our challenge as an organization, first, is to encourage lawyers, especially the new members of the Philippine Bar, to do alternative lawyering. And if not, at least handle public interest cases. I remember my former boss telling me when President Duterte was elected, and then we knew what's going to happen, she was telling me, magrarally pa ba ako? Medyo magsi-senior citizen na ako. Hindi ko na ata kaya. I told her, don't worry, maglalagay tayo ng priority lane sa mga pwesto. Kidding aside, what's my point here? We need new lawyers. We need new human rights defenders. Hindi lang new, pero mga bata. Why? Kasi yung sistema o yung pamamaraan na ginagamit, bago na rin. Social media, trolls. Ako nga, hindi ako masyadong nagtitwitter, di ba? So we need ang mga bagong abogado at human rights defenders. I am privileged to work alongside people who have worked hard and dedicated their entire careers to promoting the rule of law and social justice. There are a lot of issues threatening our communities, the environment, and our human rights, but the number of human rights defenders is diminishing. Yung iba, nagkakaedad na, tulad ng aking dating boss. The law profession entails duty to public service as its primary consideration. And what better way to fulfill that duty than to do public interest cases to promote social justice? Our second challenge, to encourage rights holders to make legitimate claims of their rights. The constant threat and harassment of the communities have affected their participation and interest in filing cases against people and corporations that violate their human rights. Our paralegals and community leaders who are working directly on the ground are exposed to risk of reprisal and abuse of the legal process. They are members of the community in the marginalized sector who can't afford quality legal services. If we cease to keep fighting the good fight, then our freedom will vanish right before our eyes. Human rights defenders are potential partners in development, not enemies of the state. Hence, my call is simply this: to preserve the rule of law and to preserve the integrity and independence of the judiciary, catering not only to the powerful few, but to the rest of us who need it the most. Magandang hapon po.